I started this channel in 2017 focusing on Chiefs, Rays, and Lightning content. To be honest with you, I never cared about college football. I never watched it. I was invited by a friend to go watch the 2018 Outback Bowl in Tampa, and it was Michigan versus South Carolina. And I didn't care who won. I didn't have a dog in the fight. But after that day, after being around South Carolina fans, and after hearing them yell for nearly 3 hours, go Cox, go Cox, go Cox, I felt like that was just too good not to want to join them. So I ended up claiming myself as a Gamecocks fan for that reason. Now, after that 2018 Outback Bowl, did I watch a single Gamecocks game on TV? No, I did not. I just thought that it was appropriate for me to claim a college team. This was the first day of 2018, so I didn't have to think about college for 3 more years. I was a sophomore in high school. That was really far in the future for me. I didn't really think about it at all. I just said, you know what, screw it. I want to be a Gamecocks fan because I like that they say go Cox every 5 seconds. So I ended up buying this hat. And I have this on one of my old unboxing videos. You could see me buy it and unbox it in real time way back when. South Carolina hat. Here it is. But like I said, I never watched Gamecocks after that. I never watched a football game of theirs on TV. I couldn't really care less. I never cared about college football. I was always an NFL guy, a pro sports guy. That all changed in 2022 when I transferred from the community college I was at to, of course, the University of South Florida to begin my junior year of college. I ended up going to USF for 2 years and graduating from USF. And in that time, I attended a handful of football games, a handful of baseball and basketball games as well. Living on campus, being right next to the Yingling Center and going to the games every Saturday home game of the season, it really just sucked me in. It makes it so much more personal when you've actually gone to that school and you've been a student at that school, you've lived on that campus. You know what it means to represent your school. And now we sit here in 2025. You know, when I started this channel, like I said, I never cared about college football. But now I'm a lifelong USF Bulls fan. And it's interesting how that's all kind of gone down, but I can't ever see myself not being a diehard for USF football. My 2 years of being a student at USF, 2022, the Bulls were terrible. They didn't qualify for a bowl game. And then in my final year as a student, 2023, they made the Boca Raton Bowl, and they beat Syracuse in the largest shutout bowl game victory ever, 45-0 over Syracuse in Boca Raton, Florida. I drove down for it. I was at that game, and it was such a crazy, fun experience. And really just ever since I transferred to USF, I have been hooked on USF football and USF athletics in general, and I am 100% in. You'll see me from time to time on this channel wearing Indiana Hoosier stuff. For those who don't know, I've said it a few times in a couple of videos, but I actually just started my master's school online via University of Indiana, so I will be wearing Indiana stuff from time to time for the sole reason that I attend the college. I'm a student there. But when it comes to the athletics, football, baseball, basketball, I am always going to be a USF Bull. I don't watch Indiana. They have a really good team this year, so I actually did just watch the Oregon game. That was a good game. Indiana came out on top over number 3 Oregon. They moved up. Indiana's now number 3 at the time of recording. Indiana's number 3 in the AP poll. And man, I've found myself these past 2-3 years just indulging in college football. I love it now. At one point, I never considered watching it. I thought it sucked. I thought it couldn't compare to NFL. And it's partially true, right? I'd rather, for the product, I'd rather watch an NFL game any day over a college game. Because in college you're going to get more drops, more mistakes, just guys that, every team's going to have a handful of guys that never go pro. So for that reason alone, NFL is always going to reign superior. But ever since I became a student at USF, I have just loved watching the Bulls, loved college football, and now here I am today. I've never done a college football video on this channel. I've never done a USF football video on this channel. So I wanted to just quickly go over this because what we're seeing in this current 2025 season out of USF is unprecedented, really, in the history of the football program. Every week I turn on the TV, I read news articles, and every week that goes by, it's seemingly becoming more and more likely that USF actually gets a college football playoff spot out of the G5 group. And just when I first started watching the Bulls in 2021/2022, man, they were terrible. Under Jeff Scott, the program was absolutely atrocious. My first season being a student at USF, the USF Bulls under Jeff Scott had one win. It was against Howard, which is not impressive at all. They lost to BYU, Florida, Louisville, East Carolina, Cincinnati, Tulane, Houston, Temple, SMU, Tulsa, and UCF. Most games by considerable margins. Funny enough, the USF Bulls ended up playing 4 ranked teams that season, and out of the entire schedule, only 3 of the games played throughout that season were close, competitive. And all 3 of those games were against ranked teams. They ended up losing at Florida. I was at that game, 31-28 against number 24 Cincinnati, 28-24. That's a 4-point loss. And then the final game of this season at home, which I was also at, versus the in-state rival UCF, we lost by 6 points. UCF scored a last-minute touchdown to go ahead. And I won't forget that one. That one sucked. I've witnessed these really just bad USF moments firsthand. So the fact that, we sit here just 3 years later under this head coach, Alex Galesh, and this quarterback, Byron Brown, and we're sitting here looking at potentially making the playoffs out of all the schools that are D1 in the country. You're telling me USF has a chance to be in that top 12 field in just 3 years from having a 1-win season. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Side note, I just did some research. The only active NFL player who was drafted out of USF is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who's currently playing for the 49ers, won 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. He wasn't a great Chiefs player, but he had his moments that mattered. I think of the 2024 AFC Championship against the Ravens, the deep bomb to seal the game that he caught, and then the touchdown he had in the AFC Championship against the Cincinnati Bengals in 2023, which would get the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. I mean, he's had some big moments for the Chiefs, and it made me feel some sort of connection to him since he played for USF. But funny enough, yeah, he is actually the only active NFL player signed to a team that played for USF. But anyways, why do I have this schedule on my right side here? Well, I want to talk about how likely is it that USF actually makes the playoffs. Coming off a 63-36 blowout win against North Texas, in which North Texas was very, very slight favorites in, the only game in North Texas school history to sell out their stadium, I think USF's chances increased just a little bit. Now, this upcoming game, October 18 versus FAU, which I will be at, of course. I go to most of the home games every year because I was a student there. It's culture, and it's my local football team. I have to go to as many as I possibly can every year. It's my team. The USF, I believe, according to ESPN, is like 23.5-point favorites, some ridiculous margin. FAU is not very good this year, and the only way really from here on out that USF gets into that G5 playoff spot is if they win out and if they win the American Conference Championship, which at this point seems very likely. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the top 3 teams in the conference being North Texas, Memphis, and USF, and then maybe Navy as well, kind of just peeking in from the outside. They've had a really good season too. But after the USF blowout on the road against North Texas, it's seeming like it's their conference to lose. Yeah, sure, Memphis is right there, but USF is currently number 19. That's side note. That's another thing I didn't think I'd see for a very, very, very long time as a USF fan, is seeing USF football on the AP poll. Now, for 3 weeks this season, USF's been ranked, and it's been something that it's hard for me to process. Because like I said, first season as a student watching almost every game, winning one single game in the entire season, you don't expect this quick of a turnaround. But Alex Galesh has really turned this program around. But let me not get sidetracked here. It's becoming abundantly clear that this is USF's playoff spot to lose. They're in the driver's seat. All they got to do is win out and then win the conference. Got FAU coming up. I expect a blowout victory. And then you've got the big one at Memphis, October 25th at noon EST. I cannot wait for this game. And let me just say, I'm a little bit irritated because my good friend Carson, he's actually been on this channel before. Him and I both recapped the 2019 Ray's wild card game together on this channel. It's a great friend, great longtime friend I met through hockey in high school. Carson, buddy, why did you have to plan your wedding this day, bro? I'm a little bit irritated that you had to choose the biggest game potentially in USF history to put your wedding day on. I'm just saying, if your wedding ceremony's beginning and I'm nowhere to be found, you know why. It seems like this is USF's conference to lose. And taking a look at this schedule at a glance, you've got 2 tough games remaining. It's at Memphis, at Navy. It's 2 tough games. Every other game, FAU, UTSA, UAB, and Rice, these should all be fairly easy wins for USF. But I, as a USF fan, because of previous seasons, am very, very skeptical of even these teams that we're supposed to be blowing out, because while USF is doing their job right now and winning the games that they should, I've been fooled before. I've seen plenty of games that USF was supposed to win and then in turn get blown out in. So these conference games, man, they're tough. It don't matter who you play. These conference games are tough. And I really, really just hope that this is the one year that USF does what they're supposed to do and doesn't let down their fans, because it's happened plenty of times before. I think we're going to win against Florida Atlantic, and I think against Memphis, I think what you're going to see is a closer game than what North Texas was, but I don't expect it to be a whole lot different scoreboard-wise. I think USF beats Memphis by at least 2 scores, and I say that with skepticism, but I do believe the North Texas game really just boosted my confidence in USF football to unprecedented levels. It truly did. 3 turnovers in the first quarter alone, and you still win 63-36. 3 turnovers in the first quarter, and that's how you win. We beat Florida this year. I was at that game. We beat ranked Boise State in the home opener. I was at that game too. Held them to 3 points. What a sick game. What an incredible season it has been for USF. And I'm so glad that I've made so many memories already this season, as I've attended most of these ginormous games. And I've been there firsthand for all the action. I will never forget being at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, home of the Florida Gators, when USF, Nico Gramatica, kicked that game-winning field goal, silencing that stadium. Walking out of the stadium, walking back to my buddy's apartment, silence among the entire campus. You could hear a pin drop. It was amazing. The little brother school of Florida beat the big boy. Never forget it, bro. That was amazing. Versus UTSA, I think we win that one pretty easily. At Navy, that one's going to be tough, but I think USF has the upper hand. I think beating North Texas was the key to gaining leverage in the remainder of these games. I don't know how you can possibly favor anybody but USF on this remaining schedule. I really don't. Each week that goes by, it's becoming more and more likely that USF gets that playoff spot. I don't want to be too hopeful yet because it's USF. But I'm just going to tell you right now, if USF ends up making the playoffs, being considered one of the 12 best football programs in the entire country, worthy enough of a playoff spot, I'm going to treat that as a Super Bowl. Seriously, I am. And I'm not going to be a fool either. I saw what Miami did to USF in week 3. I'm not going to be a fool. If USF makes the playoffs, I expect to lose in the first round pretty easily. But would I care? The answer is no. Because even getting there, being a little brother school in your own state, even just getting there, over Florida, over UCF, over Florida State, that would be just straight out of a dream. It would be something that I would not take for granted. It would be something that I would only expect to see this one time in my entire life. And thank God for USF's aggressive scheduling, because if they hadn't scheduled 3 straight ranked teams to begin the season, they would have never been in this position. It's because of their aggressive scheduling, Florida, Boise State, Miami, that they're even in the position to get a playoff spot that they're in. If you want to be a serious program, you got to play serious teams. And that's what USF did this season. And they are proving themselves to be a damn good team in this country, which is something that I really only hope to see a few times throughout my life. But for it to happen this quickly, from the firing of Jeff Scott to the hiring of Alex Galesh, what a quick turnaround, dude. Alex Galesh, he's 2 seasons already, 2 full seasons completed already with USF, 2 bowl game victories. I mean, that's incredible. Christmas Eve last year, 2024, the 5 overtime thriller against San Jose State, winning the Hawaii Bowl without Byron Brown, but with backup Bryce Archie, who actually just got drafted to the Cincinnati Reds as a pitcher this past MLB draft. I mean, that was pretty cool. Even though I watched it on my TV on Christmas Eve, it made my Christmas a little bit better. If USF ends up winning out and they play in the American Championship, it's likely that they will play either Tulane or Memphis. And I know Memphis is really considered to be right up there with USF. Memphis is currently ranked. This is going to be a ranked game in 2 weekends from now. They're number 22 right now. USF is number 19. So in the eyes of the AP poll voters and in the eyes of a lot of college football analysts and professionals, USF and Memphis are the top 2 teams in the American Conference, and they're right neck and neck with each other. And the one thing that's going to make this game really difficult for USF is the fact that it's being played in Memphis. But you just hope that they clean up their mistakes and they learn their lessons from the North Texas game and get it together. I hope that North Texas game was a huge confidence boost for this squad. Hey, they were really good. They were slight favorites. We weren't supposed to beat them. It was the first time they ever sold out their stadium, and we beat them. Not only did we beat them, but we whooped them. I hope that's a confidence boost for this squad, and I hope they clean up those mistakes they had in that game, and they just bring it to Memphis. I can't wait for that game. I really can't. It's going to be incredible, and I'm just hoping so hard that USF can pull it together and get that W, because if they beat Memphis on the road in pretty convincing fashion, I don't see USF losing another game, barring any injuries. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching if you come this far. And here it is. This is, in a sense, pretty historic for this channel. I've never done a college football video or a USF video, but here we go. That's my take. Those are my words. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.